10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is June 29th and we've got a nice quick episode for you all to enjoy. So let's start here with this Rocket Pool client execution client diversity website that Schifrin and others have put together. As you can see, the latest data shows that gETH percentage on Rocket Pool has come down by almost 5%, which is really great to see. And here the Nethermind has grown nicely, Bisu has grown very slightly, and Unknown has made up the rest of the distance. That should obviously hopefully be Bisu and Nethermind as well. So it's delayed by a month because it uses proposals to collect data. It might actually be delayed by a couple of months to get the full picture, but you can already see a 5% decrease in gETH is absolutely wonderful, like really great stuff. So there's 3 pops you can get, and the prize pool like so far is looking amazing. There's 80 RPL, over half an ETH, some rETH, and a bunch of NFTs, which is really cool. And if you donate, then you get this really cool pop-up that shows you donated. It tells you how to do it, and then the list of people who have migrated because of this drive. There's over 50 people who have migrated, which is absolutely amazing. Over 80 people already use minority clients, and then there's a list of people who have donated to the raffle. So the reason why I'm covering this today is because the raffle has actually gone live now. There's an issue with POAP.fun raffles in that when you put in the URL for the raffle, it doesn't work properly if you include the raffle part in there. So I'll have the correct link in the description of the video and of the podcast, so you can definitely go and get that. But the prizes for the raffle are amazing. So there's so far there's about 120 people who will be getting the POAPs, and the prizes, there's over 30 prizes right now. So the chances of getting a prize are really high. So let's have a look at what the prizes are. Number 1, 12 RPL, and some rETH, and also Nano Ledger Nano X, and then some NFTs. Prizes 2 through 6 are 0.1 ETH, and prizes 7 through 23 are 4 RPL, and then prizes 24 through 30 are some NFTs. So the prizes here are like fantastic. 4 RPL is about $150 or so. 0.1 ETH, of course, is about $180 or so. 12 RPL is just fantastic, like that's close to $500. So that's really nice prizes here that Schifrin has set up, and it says 32 people have joined the raffle so far. So the raffle will probably start around the second week of July. So make sure that you I'll enter that raffle because the prizes are really good. So good stuff with Schifrin. Okay, talking about Schifrin here, there's some more information from Schifrin about the GMC update for June 2023. So he says, "Hey Rocket Poolers, as we approach the next rewards period, I would like to provide you all with a quick update on the GMC. Let's start with some individual applicant updates. Waldorf GMC granted partial funding for the governance work application submitted by Cal. After careful consideration, the GMC has recognized the significant contributions of Waldorf and governance work in general. To rectify the disparity in the award amount, the administrator will be submitting a retrospective application to make up the difference." Dr. Doofus, in the first round, Dr. Doofus' application was denied. And I think Schifrin here means in the previous round. However, upon further deliberation, the GMC wholeheartedly welcomes him to resubmit his application during the next round. For Jasper and Ken, both individuals have been requested to submit separate applications for their work in Twitter Spaces. We have noticed some discrepancies in the valuation of work between Twitter Spaces and Rocket Fuel. We intend to address these concerns during the upcoming awards announcement. Ramana presented several project ideas, and although the previous award setup didn't allow us to fully nurture these applications, We're pleased to see that Romano has made significant progress with some of his projects. And in Viz, we've heard feedback from the community that Invis was not adequately compensated for their work on Rocket Watch. We extended an invitation to Invis to submit an application providing more detail and data on what they believe would be a reasonable amount. Now let us discuss some updates on the GMC governance. Retrospective award cap. We are proposing the elimination of the retrospective award cap as we envisage a new and improved awards process that will not only fulfill the intended utility of the retrospective award cap, but also enhance it for future forward awards. A new award cycle going forward. We propose that the award cycle will take place monthly, allowing sufficient time for negotiation and enabling applicants to submit their applications at any time. GMC admin's role. We are working on clearly defining the role of the GMC admin along with their responsibilities, and RPIP will establish guidelines for maintaining and transitioning this role effectively. While I could not provide an exact timeline for implementation, I want to assure you that we have made significant progress. If all goes as planned, this will be the last award cycle with the current format. Thanks all, and don't forget to get those applications ready. So definitely get those applications ready. This is a really nice update from Schifrin. Patches says here to rectify the replying in comments. He says, what does progress look like? I worry a bit about the precedent set by the GMC creating and improving its own applications. Can a single member of the GMC be responsible for writing the application and abstain for voting on it at least? And then we extend an invitation to Invis to submit an application providing more detail and data on what they believe would be a reasonable amount. And Patches says, I volunteered to do this on his behalf. Is there a preference from the GMC that he takes the reins? Yeah, so Schifrin says, in reply to that, he says, I have revised the sentence for clarity. The administrator will be submitting an application, but it's important to note that the administrator does not possess any voting power. Theoretically, the GMC could outright deny it as nothing is official yet, but this was more a signal current intentions. If we're worried about being precedence issue, the GMC could ask the person to resubmit themselves. I don't expect the typical process to be the GMC resubmitting for the applicant, but I saw in this case an opportunity for the GMC to make a statement about valuing governance work, which has been a recurring topic in the community. I volunteered to do this on his behalf. Is there a preference from the GMC that he take the reins? No preference. The details and context in the application are the most important. And then Patches says, this seems fair, safe and fair, thanks. So about the administrator submitting the thing. So if you are interested in this whole process, definitely go and give a comment on this DAO forum post. The link, of course, is below. And share your ideas, because as Schifrin here says, the next rewards period will be starting in tomorrow, pretty much. So it's really important that we all approach this in the best possible way. There's been controversies in the past, and we really want to avoid controversies going forward. So I think everyone's just kind of more aware of what's being said, what's happening as well. So I think that's a really good set of updates from Schifrin. I'm really proud of the work that the GMC is doing. I'm really proud of the work that I'm doing on the GMC, and I really want to give a huge shout out to Schifrin for just being absolutely invaluable to the GMC recently. He's been amazing, absolutely phenomenal, really, really great. Schifrin's just stepped up in the most amazing ways, and I'm so proud of him. So sorry if that sounded patronizing, but I really am. So yeah, we need more Schifrins. Okay, and then there's another update here for call for past evaluations feedback. It says here, Rocket Poolers, we highly value the input and concerns expressed by the PDAO regarding past valuations that have raised disagreements. We encourage you to share your thoughts and ideas below. We're encouraging feedback of any level of detail you feel comfortable with, whether specific or more open-ended. Here's some examples. Are there certain categories of projects you believe are underfunded or overfunded? Is there a certain project that you believe was underfunded or overfunded? Anything else you can think of? We appreciate all the feedback. And Patches says, in general, the GMC should defer to its technical members to assess the scale of technical grants, boundaries, bounties or retrospective awards, we should aim to pay a competitive rate for engineering talent based on real-world data, e.g. existing contracts in the space and traditional tech markets. I believe it falls to the GMC to establish guidelines of what this looks like. Bounties and retroactive awards carry less risk for the GMC, and the compensations should reflect that, as in give more money, I guess. Grants carry more risk for the GMC, and the compensation should reflect that, with a portion of the payments unlocked as milestones are hit. Retroactive awards rewarding past contributions should allow stipulations for maintenance future development. I don't think, for instance, the rocket scan should have to apply for a retroactive award as well as a grant to cover past development and maintenance, as well as ongoing costs respectively. Having separate applications lead to undesirable scenarios and duplicate work for the GMC. Bounties are my preferred form of GMC spending. They carry almost no risk and allow a separate party from the author to deliver. As such, I think the GMC should have a standing authorship bounty. If a bounty is approved and subsequently claimed by a party other than its author, the author should receive a relatively small award for the work putting the bounty together. I like the idea. We should be careful not to incentivize spam here, of course. The idea here being that authoring a bounty is a form of work for the protocol that is currently unrewarded. I actually really like the idea. This is the first time I'm reading this, so yeah, that's thanks, Patches. Waldorf had some good ideas as well. He says we need to get more folks more active. Our community is strength, and we need to figure out how to leverage it more. Bonuses, sometimes you pay X and you get X plus 1 in the grant of bounty. If we believe that happened, write them a quick retroactive award and give them a bonus. Governance, frankly, is too reliant on me right now. We need to help get people to write RPIPs and do the feedback legwork, which often includes playing mediator. Maybe something like what Patches suggests for bounties would work, an award based on successfully getting to vote, and maybe another one for passing. Bonus ideas might apply if it's something arduous or controversial and well managed or of high interest to the community. Little things, right now it's quite a process. In the same process, regardless of things, I'd suggest a small stack to put on RB or optimism and can be used for things 10 RPL and less. I think NoSysSafe can be used to set up rules, maybe up to 2 RPL with 1 signature, less than 5 RPL with 2 signatures, or less than 10 with 3. Same GMC signers, not really on schedule. I'm thinking stuff like half RPL tip as a thank you for a Dune dashboard update, documentation cleanup, etc. And then he says there's some concern about spam and farming. Yes, it can be an issue. I suggest not worrying about it too much ahead though, if we can hit the brakes before the accelerator. And +1 for technical stuff needs technical review. That said, I think you should feel free to use the community here. If you know Patches has already read something, it's modest asked to do some Q&A. Is this accurate? Is this clear? Is there a particular insight? How does this compare with the other thing Patches has read? And maybe you could get one of them small tips I mentioned. Most of that is some version of get people excited to be active community members. So the comments are already coming in. If you have anything that you'd like to add to that, definitely check the DAO forum and pop in there and share your ideas. They're really invaluable, truly, because the GMC's got $2 million of treasury just waiting that we want to give out, and we desperately want to give out money. It's like in the last 2 cycles, there might have been accusations that we didn't give enough money and that people, were left shortchanged when they should have gotten more money, etc. All that kind of stuff. But I think that, we really want to, Waldorf here said, encourage excitement and wanting to work for Rocket Pool, because people will see that they get a fair compensation for the work that they did, and maybe even above fair, right? A good compensation potentially, because there's a whole lot of work to be done, and there's work that we know needs to be done, and there's probably even work that we don't know needs to be done. So if there's a way that we can start getting that work done, it would be better. It'd be better for everyone in the PDAO. So I really like some of that feedback. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas, Schifrin, Patches, and Waldorf. Okay, next we have this interesting post from MakerDAO, and it says Block Analytica has submitted a series of parameter changes in the Maker protocol for an executive vote in line with stability scope requirements. So let's have a look at the stability scope requirements. He says the post covers Block Analytica's BA Labs proposed changes to stability scope requirements for the month of June. Final changes are pending approval by the stability scope responsible facilitators. For the context, refer to our previous stability scope parameter changes below. So the reason why I'm covering this in today's episode is because they are thinking of changing the fees, whether or not rETH will be on Maker. So it says by the end of Q3 2023, rETH must achieve a proportional share of revenue compared to the WST-ETH vault types combined based on market capitalization of the token. Failure to meet this requirement will result in the offboarding of rETH according to Article 14.3. And then it says current market capitalization of ST-ETH is 13.8 billion, while rETH stands at 921 million, resulting in a ratio of 6.67%. The current rETH ST-ETH revenue ratio is approximately 4.86%. Under the current parameter configuration, with outstanding debt of rETH A needs to increase by 8.13 million to comply with the new rule. For detailed explanation of the proposed changes, and then look at the forum. So you can have a look at the forum here, they kind of break it down. But basically the idea is that there's not enough people who are depositing rETH into Maker, and compared to, like, you know, how many people deposit WST-ETH, like Lido's the ETH, and that is not good enough, I guess they're arguing. And unless, you know, we increase by a fair chunk, then rETH will be removed from Maker's vaults. So yeah, I'm not really familiar with the Maker process, so I don't know how common this is, you know, to have assets removed, but they're definitely putting it out here, so I'm wondering how that's going to play out. And I'm not really seeing too many comments about it either, so I guess it's kind of in line with their normal process. But I'll definitely keep an eye out on that and see how things change, because I thought their adoption was pretty good, but I guess not. Okay, next we have this Nouns governance post that was brought to my attention today. It's proposal 320, and it says treasury diversification, swap 500 WST-ETH to rETH via a TWAMM. So this was created by cronfi.eth, and there's a TLDR. It says there's been interest in diversifying the Nouns treasury, specifically going from ST-ETH to rETH, and we've built a tool that's tailor-made to help execute these trades, TWAMM. The trade will be executed completely on-chain, transparently, with very low fees and minimal gas costs. And he says the first trade will be of $1 million, and after that completes successfully, a larger $14 million trade will be proposed. So there's a whole bunch of information here about what a TWAMM is. A TWAM, I guess, is a concept introduced by Paradigm in July 2021. It works by breaking long-term orders into infinitely many, infinitely small pieces and executing them against an embedded constant product AMM smoothly over time. So I have to admit, like, I don't fully understand how it works, but they were talking about, like, you know, what kind of fees you can pay and how it all works out, and what's going to happen. But I like the idea, of course, of, you know, them switching some of their ST-ETH into rETH. Of course, that is, like, really, really wonderful. But I'm not quite sure I understand the mechanism, and I made that clear when we talked about it in Discord. But you know, these guys have made a really, really detailed proposal about how it's all going to work and how it's all going to work out and stuff. There's not really any feedback that I can see about this yet, but as soon as I, you know, get more information about that, I'll let you all know what's going on with that. But we started talking about it in the outreach thread over here, which is under trading, and you know, this PBJ came into the thread as well to kind of explain what a TWAMM is, and how it's all going to work, and, you know, that they need liquidity and stuff, and how they'll need like 1.4 million worth of liquidity, and how they do the kind of trading, and like how that's all going to work out. But anyway, the comment that I made was, let me see if I can find it. I said, like, sorry to ask a dumb question, but why don't we just yeah, I said, can I ask a dumb question? Why can't Nouns just withdraw from stETH using Lido and then getting their ETH and then depositing that ETH into the Rocket Pool deposit pool, converting it to rETH? And then PBJ said that I believe there's a withdrawal queue to do that, and they want to do everything on chain without too many proposals to execute all these small transactions. So I don't think that makes sense, because Jasper said the withdrawal period is tiny. In fact, I think Lido even have a buffer that has, like, some ETH waiting there for people who want to withdraw. And Jasper says it seems like the optimal route. If the order is bigger than our limit of roughly 18,000 ETH, then it'd make more sense. I guess this would avoid the 0.05% minting fees of rETH, but I'm not sure how valuable that is. And I think that's actually more than the slippage they'd face, right, by doing all those swaps. So I said, there's 2,000 validators able to exit each day right now. So 500 ETH would go through like within a few epochs, and 14,000 ETH would go through like within a day, like not even a day, like a few hours. So that, even if they didn't have a withdrawal queue, it makes sense to just withdraw straight from Lido and bring your ETH to the deposit pool and deposit it into one transaction. As far as I can tell, that'd be like 2 transactions or maybe a few transactions for approval as well. So it's not really complicated. But these guys, they've come up with a way of doing it that they think is in the best interest of that Nouns DAO. So I'm not sure how it will work. So yeah, I'm guess this is really great that the proposals are coming up again for more DAOs to switch their stETH or their ETH to rETH, and I hope more of them do it. So yeah, that'll be good. Okay, so this really interesting chart was brought to my attention today about how the Rocket Pool price and how the liquidity available for the RPL token kind of mirror each other. As you get more liquidity, the token price goes up. On first glance, I kind of thought it was interesting because you think that as liquidity goes up, there's more liquidity available, then the token price goes up. But I think I had my causality backwards, and it could just honestly be that as the price goes up, then more like the TVL, like the token liquidity goes up because people are selling, people are buying, like there's a whole lot happening on chain. And that, I don't know how much you can kind of like read into that, right, like about liquidity versus price, but there's definitely a correlation there, right, like that as the price goes up, liquidity goes up, but I don't think liquidity is causing the price to go up. Yeah, so it's definitely a nice little thing. And like I like that the total value locked in the Rocket Pool protocol now, is 1.82 billion. That's fairly respectable, and it's just a matter of time before we get that to 10x, hopefully soon. So speaking of the Rocket Pool price, I don't do this too much, but Ethan Hughes here had an interesting tweet. He says the best time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. RPL has had a pretty big sell-off last week or so, but when you zoom out, it's still up only against ETH. Also, the uni liquidity is pretty weak, below 0.2, causing more drastic price drops when people sell. So first, let's have a look at liquidity here. Oh, you can't see the chart really, but it's basically a whole lot of sell side liquidity and very little buy side liquidity. So as people sell, it forces the price down quicker, because there's not too many people like buying in the liquidity pools right now. Whereas if you are selling your if you're buying RPL, then there's a whole lot of people selling RPL in the prices above you, so you can sell more and more RPL without moving the price too much. So there's a lot of buy side liquidity, but there's very little sell side liquidity, which is one of the reasons why the price has been falling as quickly as it has. We really need more people to put up buying walls here on the ETH side, so they can buy up any drops in the prices. But we're at 0.02 right now, thereabouts, and in all honesty, like a couple of big sells here could really see the liquidity go down, the price go down. I said that a few days ago that's when people who are kind of like sitting on the sidelines might start buying it, and then just as quickly as the price goes down, because of the low liquidity, the price can go back up that quickly as well. So I made a little buy last week, and I've gotten a little bit more to buy if the price really takes a hit. But this TA, of course, is one of the favorite topics of people, shows that, you know, the RPL versus ETH price has kind of been in this uptrend for quite a while now, and it's kind of bouncing around in this channel, upward channel, and you know, right now we're hitting the lower trend line for that channel around 0.02. So if it shows a significant crash below that and sustained crash below that, then this will be invalidated. However, if it continues, then, you know, depending on when we hit the upper range of that channel again, it's looking like it could go up to 0.05, which of course would be a new all-time high on the ratio, potentially even higher than that if it hits the upper bound of that channel, like, you know, in a year from now instead of 6 months from now. But of course this is TA, and TA, of, like they say, is like astrology for crypto bros, so that's I don't really put too much attention on that. But I thought it was really interesting about, you know, this liquidity available, and how the prices can like move because of that. So Ethan here says, yeah, highly recommend checking out links below for RPL investment thesis. And then as long as the new mini pools are being spun up, demand for RPL grows. Mini pools are up only even after the recent FUD, and more upgrades like LEB8s in the work that make me bullish. So of course there's updates coming, as there always are, and like here the mini pool count over time, you know, kind of rocketed after Atlas, and it's slowly plateauing now, but it's still like nicely upwards. And you know, the gradient, the slope of increase is before, or higher than it was before Atlas, so it's not quite matched that same pace that we had in the first 6 to 8 weeks after Atlas, but it's still going along at a nice pace. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to shape out, you know, the channel that we're in. I remember Marshall shared a tweet just before we came down, like, or just as we started to come down a few weeks ago, about, you know, this pretty much this exact same image, and showing that, you know, there was this channel that we were in supposedly, and maybe that it was going to test the lower range of that channel. Well, now that we've tested the lower range of that channel, the main thing that we're going to see is if we bounce here or if we break down. So that's something to keep an eye on. Okay, so yesterday I talked about 2 airdrops in the Rocket Pool community / adjacent communities, and one of those was Diva. So I got an airdrop of 112,000 Diva tokens on my ENS, and I also got 12,000 Diva tokens on my node. I haven't claimed the ones on my node yet because I'm kind of hesitant to put my private keys onto you know, to interact with the Diva protocol, but I did claim the ones that were sent to my ENS. And the reason why I'm covering this today is because I've become a delegate for Diva. So if you're interested, if you've got some Diva tokens, and if you're not really interested in voting, then you can delegate your tokens to me by going to my profile, which is linked in the notes in the description. So if you are, you know, if you want to do that, you're welcome to do that. I was talking about this in trading earlier, and about how, you know, I want to approach this in good faith, and, you know, how they approached me. I was really hesitant about accepting the tokens because I felt like it was potentially a form of bribery or some kind of manipulation or something like that. And, you know, I talked to a few people who gave me some really good advice, so I really appreciate that. So that kind of placated me. So I accepted the tokens. I'll be voting on their proposals to try to make it that Diva is, you know, another decentralized, trustless, permissionless, open sourced staking project that has, you know, great community, all that kind of stuff that comes with those things. Because, you know, ideally we need more products like Rocket Pool. I am kind of, yeah, we were talking about this in trading earlier, but it could potentially be seen as a kind of vampire attack on Rocket Pool and, you know, solo stakers, because they've been given this token that might accrue value later, and if it accrues value, it might be worth it to then stake that through Diva instead of through Rocket Pool or as a solo staker, and that kind of like changes incentives. So yeah, I just wanted to you know, acknowledge that the reason why I got a big airdrop was because I'm a prominent member of the Rocket Pool community. The reason why I'm a prominent member of the Rocket Pool community is because of the care and the trust all of you all put in me, and I want to show you all that, you know, I'm going to maintain that as much as I can, and kind of like live up to the trust that you all have put in me. So please, like, see what I'm voting on, see how I'm voting, like call me out on it if you think that I'm making bad decisions. If you are happy with the work that I'm doing, you're more than welcome to delegate your Diva tokens to me. If not, you can take those delegations back if you have it, or just talk to me about it. I'm more than happy to talk to all of you all whenever you want. Okay, and finally, I'm going to end with this bit of information from Lido. So this is from Seraphim, who is the person who's in charge of expanding DeFi at Lido, and STETH and wrapped STETH. So he says, personal opinion on self-capping Lido finance. There is prominent argument to self-cap Lido at 33%, because on Ethereum 2/3 of validators need to attest to a block is correct, so it's finalized. Supposedly, if a node operator operates 1/3 of, or more than 1/3 of all staked ETH, they can be inactive on purpose and hence prevent finality or censor transactions. What people miss is that Lido is not a single node operator. It's a protocol that socializes rewards and losses across the underlying validators. Basically, Lido cannot on a protocol level tell the node operators to shut down or abuse attestation. That's just not how it works. There are other arguments people bring up for self-capping too, and I can deal with them later, but this one is a prominent one, and I hope it clears any confusion. So of course it didn't clear any confusion. Lido's 29 node operators all come under Lido, like it's just the way it works. Like it's yeah. Anyway, here Matt had a nice comment. He says, yes, Danny Ryan didn't know there was more than one node operator at Lido. Great to hear. So then Danny Ryan, of course, replies to this saying, if you're referring to my risks of LSD piece, I make the claim that the incentives of such a protocol in the extreme drive the disparate node operators to operate in a unified manner, which of course, is a big risk. It's a big tail risk to Lido. And then he says, but now I'm rereading your tweet as sarcasm and I'm unsure to whom and how to respond. And then Seraphim says, pretty sure Matt was taking the piss. So Danny, of course, is absolutely right, addressing Seraphim's original message. This idea of, way many node operators, so it's all okay. I think that doesn't wash. And Seraphim's been saying a lot of things recently on Twitter that are frankly alarming about wanting to expand Lido's growth, and it seems like it's at the cost of some of the Ethereum attributes that we want to maintain and preserve, such as decentralization and not having one entity have such a huge sway on the network. But anyway, we talk about Lido an awful lot, but I thought that I would cover this because there's some really interesting information in there for you all if you are interested in having a look at it. And I really like Danny Ryan's reply about that, about how they the different node operators can kind of operate in a unified manner. So people are definitely worried about this, right? Big people like Danny Ryan, and it's really strange that people at Lido are not taking that more seriously. But on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.